There have been so many times in business that there are things that I don't like to do, I don't want to do, I would rather not do. And those are the things usually that translate into dollars. So I can give you example after example. I didn't want to sit there and have to, as a lender, vet the borrower over and over and over, get new financials, go vet the property, go see the property, make sure that the appraisal was right, make sure that the title report was right, sit in loan committee, make sure that we weren't missing anything, working backwards, making sure that the budgets were right, making sure that the budgets weren't inflated, making sure that I can go and cross-check and make sure, okay, these 15 doorknobs really cost that. You think I wanted to do that over and over? Loved it. I loved the business. I love building things. I love being with the team. But that diligence and that doing it over and over and over, that repetition of the small things added into a very successful company. How did I go from a phone and a desk to a couple $1 billion a year in lending? Like that. Doing the hard things over and over and over, getting on a plane and going and verifying that what I was seeing on writing, that what I was being told was true, getting in there and figuring out who was doing this better than I was. How could I learn from them? How were they looking at the market? How were they looking at the borrowers? How were they looking at real estate as a whole? What was going on in other states? Not get so myopically focused just in my little area. I started in LA because that was my backyard. And that was great. And then I expanded and expanded and expanded. But that didn't mean that I sat there and thought, oh, gee, now I can, I did it and it's working. So now I can put my foot off the gas. No, it was the exact opposite. When I realized it worked, that all these layers and all these little pieces coming together made a good loan, made a good quality loan, created a great relationship with a borrower, then you repeat that over and over and over. Sure, you get smarter, you figure out ways to bring it and do it on a larger scale and scale it. But there is no, winning the lottery type of mentality that you're going to jump from here to here. It's something that takes work every single day, putting in the hard work, doing the things that feel boring, doing the things that feel repetitive, doing the things that you'd rather not do. There were days I didn't want to do that because I was also running the business. I was also biz dev, capital raiser. I was going and doing all of the things, right? I mean, all of that not only built me a successful business, but it taught my team that I was the first one in and the last one out the door, that I was in it with them, that they could count on me as a leader. They could count on me to go and be the person looking forward, not reacting, right? Because when your leader is just reactive to the business, you've already lost. You've lost an important opportunity to create revenue. Instead, being forward thinking and understanding, this is the business I'm in. This is what's happening today. These are the market conditions. Here's how the world has changed. Here's an opportunity for growth. All of those things matter. And whether you're the business owner, whether you're building a team, whether you're building your career, wanting to be the best and putting in the work to be the best creates absolute success. Please hear me on this. Putting in the work, but you first have to want to be the best. I didn't want to just be good. I wanted to be great. I wanted to be the best. Why? Because I wanted to build something greater than just myself. Because I wanted my team to see that we together could build something that are greater than just ourselves. Because we wanted to create regional jobs. Because I wanted to level the playing field and create housing for people. Because we saw a mission more than ourselves. That translates into the days when it gets hard, the days when you don't want to do it, the days when you're tired, the days when you're thinking, why am I doing this? Is it working? Those days are the days that you look back to your reason, to your why, and you focus on that. And all of a sudden, whatever challenge is in front of you doesn't feel so big and scary. It doesn't feel so terrible because you remember that, hey, I've done this. It's repetitive. I can stack these little wins. I can move on this. And that's when you can then say to yourself, I want to grow my business in this way. Because if you haven't taken the time to identify what is making you the money, what is revenue producing for you, how can you expand on that? You're just going to be running a business based on the noise, based on whoever's calling you and yelling and screaming the loudest. That's being reactive. That's not really building something forward facing. That's not really building something that is going to be revolutionary. That's reactive. I think there's two that we can take from there.